Welcome, everybody. We will get started a little bit after 5 p.m. We're going to give a chance for people to get into the room. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started shortly after 5 p.m. We're going to give everyone a chance to get into the room today. Welcome, everyone. We'll get started shortly. Welcome, everyone. We're going to give it a few minutes to get the presentation started. Thank you for being with us tonight. Welcome, everyone. We'll get about 1 more minute and then we'll go ahead and get our presentation started for tonight. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Christy Renteria, and I am a Student Success Coordinator here with Santa Barbara City College in our Enrollment Services Department. Thank you for being with us tonight. We appreciate you joining us from wherever you may be, the comfort of your homes, schools, or wherever you may be. Tonight's presentation is going to be about SBCC enrollment. We're going to tell you a few things about SBCC, and then following that, we are going to have a University Transfer Academy presentation, and it's going to be talking about all things transfer. So make sure you stick around for that. Additionally, we are going to have a Q&A session at the end, but throughout the presentation, should you have a question, you have a little Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen. Go ahead and click on that. If you have any questions, please make sure that you're entering them into the Q&A, not into the chat. We want to make sure that we're getting all your questions answered tonight. So make sure you're adding them to the Q&A. And people will be answering your questions live as we go, but we will also have a live question answer portion at the end of our presentations today. We have great University Transfer Academy staff with us tonight, along with SBCC Enrollment Services. But I believe the stars of the show are our student outreach assistants who are with us, who are SBCC students currently. So right now, I would like for them to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Michaela.
Hi everyone, my name is Michaela and I'm from the Bay Area. I'm a first-year student at SBCC currently studying journalism. And my favorite part of SBCC so far has definitely been just being exposed to so many amazing professors, because they really take the time to help you understand everything and they're super supportive along the way. So it's been a great experience.
And then next we have Armand.
Hi guys, my name is Armand. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm a bio major, third year. And one of the things I love about SBCC is that a lot of kids, their goal is to transfer, which is a big thing. And it's a walk in the park to get into the schools you want to, but I think everyone has the same mentality. They just want to transfer, and everyone's just friendly around this area. And it's sunny too.
Thank you, Armand. And what Armand did not mention is that he recently was admitted to UCSB, so he will be transferring from Santa Barbara City College to UCSB in the fall. So congratulations, Armand. Santa Barbara City College, reach your dream school. That's what we really want to get you to, is whatever your dream school, your dream career, associate degree, certificate, whatever that is, we want to help you get on that path. Myself, I attended Santa Barbara City College way back when. I am a local to Santa Barbara, and I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go. I did end up coming to SBCC, then transferring and getting my degree at UCSB. And then going on to get my master's degree at Pepperdine. So SBCC is a great place to start your academic journey. I was a student a long time ago, but we have Armand and Michaela who are current students. So I would definitely recommend and advise, if any of you students out there or parents have questions that are student specific, utilize that Armand and Michaela are here, and ask any student related questions that you may have for them. So to get us started, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about what SBCC is about, why you should come to SBCC, how you get here, and when all this happens. So what is SBCC about? What is SBCC? Santa Barbara City College is one out of 116 California community colleges. Other community colleges might include things like Allen Hancock, Santa Monica College. You may have a community college in your own community. And what we do at SBCC is we offer associate degree, certificate, and transfer programs. So you're not tied into one, you can do all of those things. A lot of students will come here for transfer, end up leaving with an associate degree. I've heard of students who also leave with up to 6 associate degrees or certificates in their areas of study. And in addition to SBCC being a college credit campus, we have a non-credit campus or School of Extended Learning. And that is a separate application and separate campus if students are interested in taking college or non-college credit classes, and those are really a lot for personal enrichment. So why SBCC? What is so special about SBCC? SBCC provides a low cost, high quality, meaning for California residents, we have $46 tuition. That is an amazing opportunity to come get an amazing education at a very low cost, but at the same time, we have very academically challenging programs of study and amazing transfer options for students. Also, SBCC provides financial aid. You are able to get state and federal aid to be able to come to SBCC. So even though it's a low cost, if you are eligible, you can get financial aid to cover the cost to come to SBCC. Lastly, we have what's called the SBCC Promise. So the SBCC Promise is specifically for students who are in our local high school community. So that means that you have to graduate from a local high school from Goleta to, Gaviota to Carpinteria. Within there, a local high school, which also includes homeschooling, private schools, and then our mainstream public high schools. And as long as you graduate from there, you can come to SBCC for 2 years and have your tuition and expenses covered for the SBCC Promise. Next is we have 80+ academic majors. Our most popular majors are going to be business, communication, engineering, psychology, and biology. But apart from those, we have 80+ academic majors that you are able to explore. One great thing about SBCC when I came here is I didn't really know what I wanted to study. A lot of students don't really know what they want to study. Some students may know from a very young age, I want to be a veterinarian or a doctor or a firefighter or a librarian. But some students don't know, I'm not sure what I want to do. That was me. And I came and I was able to explore different options, explore different programs. And I realized I really liked sociology, and that is what my major was at UCSB. Apart from our wonderful academic majors, we have incredible student support programs. And more than anything, if you take anything from this presentation, is make sure you are taking advantage of all student support programs that we have here at Santa Barbara City College. One of the biggest mistakes I made when coming to SBCC, and it's part of the reason I do this work, is I never took advantage of any program. I was too shy, I was too stubborn, I was too prideful to ask for help. And realizing that my journey would have been a little bit easier if I asked for the help when I needed it. Some of the programs we have are EOPS, which stands for Extended Opportunities Programs and Services. And what EOPS is, it's for academically disadvantaged students who are enrolled full-time with 12 or more units at SBCC. And the goal of the program is to provide above and beyond support services to help students meet their educational goals. Now for EOPS, you do have to qualify for EOPS and apply to that program. But some of the benefits of EOPS is you get personalized counselors, you get a priority registration date, there are book grants, there are tutors, and there are advisors that are really there to help you along the way. The next program is our DSPS program, so our Disabled Students Programs and Services. This is for students who maybe in high school had an IEP or a 504, or potentially for students that maybe have an undiagnosed learning disability. Now, what DSPS does is it provides accommodations so students can do well academically and get all the support they need to be successful here at Santa Barbara City College. You do need to apply to that program. Any of these programs that I'm talking about, I say that you need to apply to, please let us know. We're happy to get your email address and send you the applications for these specific programs. Apart from if you have an IEP or 504, DSPS is also a wonderful program for if you get injured, perhaps. Maybe you break a leg or you break your arm. I know of a student who did not know about DSPS, they broke their arm and it was, their dominant arm, they had a lot of pain, they were unable to complete their class and they didn't know about this program and they dropped the class. Now, if they would have known about DSPS, they're going to provide accommodations for this student, someone to write notes for them, someone to attend class with them so that they are able to be successful in the class. So keep this in mind. STEM is our science, technology, engineering, and math program. So for those of you who are engineering and math, this is your program. This program also has advisors and counselors for students in this program. It has its own center for students to go and get tutoring services. And also it takes you on field trips to STEM-focused four-year universities to explore those universities to see what their programs are and what they offer to you as a student. Study abroad, one of my favorite programs. Now I know with COVID, this has been on hold, but I do know for the fall of 2022, they have plans to do a Paris and Rome program and a London program. So the great thing about study abroad is you are learning, you're getting your college credit units, and you can also use financial aid if you're eligible to help pay for this. So please look into study abroad. It's something I never did as an undergrad and a big regret that I had. Health and wellness. So health and wellness, we want our students to be healthy. We want them to be well. And that includes services like Our Well that does a lot of great programming such as like meditation, or they do yoga. They also do a great kind of de-stress fest as well during finals for students. One of my favorite things that they do is during finals week, they'll bring dogs out and their therapy dogs to be able to go during a stressful time and go hang out with those dogs. Also, as a part of health and wellness is you can do personal counseling. You get 6 sessions a semester to be able to make an appointment with a personal counselor if you need that. Additionally, there's a nurse practitioner and a nurse on campus that you can make appointments through health and wellness. The next program is our honors program. Our honors program is for students who want an academic challenge. To be accepted into the honors program, you do need to have a 3.2 weighted GPA, either from high school or the college that you're coming from, and no grade lower than a C. Now, the honors program is a cohort program where you will be taking honors classes with other people in the honors program. They're academically challenging. They prepare you for four-year universities. And a great thing about the honors program is you do get priority consideration for UCLA and UC Irvine. So if you're really looking at those schools to transfer to, the honors program may be something that you want to look at. We have the University Transfer Center, which also includes the University Transfer Academy. I'm not going to talk too much about that because we have them here today, and I'm going to let them let you know what they're about. But if you're at all wanting to know about transfer, please go to them and start your first semester. Don't wait for your last semester with SBCC. You want to get ahead of that. We also have our Basic Needs Center, which include our food pantry and Love's Closet. Our food pantry is one of the best things that we have on campus. So many students utilize it. There are amazing things in there, fresh food, and you can go in there at any time with your student ID and get what you need. Love's Closet is also a great program through the Basic Needs Center. If you are looking for clothes, household items, anything they have in there, it is free for Santa Barbara City College students. And lastly, we have our Learning Resources Center. You can go into our Learning Resources Center, and that is where you're going to be finding a tutor and someone that is going to help you academically in your classes. It is connected to our library, and make sure that you're going in there if you are struggling in classes or needing a tutor. I cannot say enough about our student support programs. This is just a snapshot. We have many, many more, and we want to make sure that you are thriving as an SBCC student and getting into the student support programs. Our transfer programs, I'm not going to touch too much upon it. Like I said, we have our experts here, and they're going to be doing a presentation about our transfer programs. Academic counseling. One of the most important things that you will do as an SBCC student is meet with an academic counselor. Now, I never did this. I did this maybe one time at Santa Barbara City College, and it was a huge mistake on my part. And the reason it was a huge mistake is because our academic counselors are our guides. They're going to help us develop student educational plans, which is called an SEP. And that is going to help us get to our academic goal, whether it's an associate degree, a certificate, or transfer options. Now, as a community college at Santa Barbara City College, not all of our courses are meant for transfer. And so you're going to want to make sure that you're meeting with an academic counselor so that you are on the right path. In addition to academic counselors being great and guiding us through our student education plans, academic counselors also teach a personal development class and a college success course. Please take those PD courses. They're college success courses. You can look them up in our class schedule. Those classes are going to set you up for success of being a college student. I know there's a hard transition, right, from that high school to college. Being on your own, also managing your own schedule. These courses are really going to help you be successful, and they are transferable to four-year universities. And lastly, we have 50 career technical education programs. If you are into health technologies, cosmetology, esthetician, marine diving, culinary art, or automotive technology, these are really hands-on programs that you are able to get associate's degrees and certificates and then go directly into your field, your career field. Now, some of these programs have what we call a supplemental application, which means in addition to the steps to enrollment that I'm going to be talking about, you have to be admitted into the programs, and it requires a separate application. If you are at all interested in any of our career technical education programs, make sure that you are reaching out to someone from the enrollment staff so that we can get you those supplemental applications and get you connected to those people in these programs so that you can learn more and also figure out if you want to be a part of these programs. But these are amazing hands-on programs. Financial aid. So I encourage all students, even if you don't think that you might qualify, just try with financial aid. The types of aid that you are able to get at Santa Barbara City College is scholarships. So SBCC itself gives out about $1 million a year from our Santa Barbara City College Foundation in scholarships to SBCC students. You're going to want to make sure that you're applying to those. The priority deadline is March 2nd of every year. I know that that has already passed. However, sometimes they don't get enough applicants for the scholarships or anyone that qualifies. So check your pipeline email. This is a plug for you students who have already applied. Your pipeline email is where all this information is going to go. Check that pipeline email for additional scholarship opportunities. Now, the next one is our California College Promise Grant, or CCPG, which is California State Aid. Now, this is not to be confused with our SBCC Promise. This is our CCPG. And if you are a California State resident, apply for this. And there's two ways that you can apply for this. One, if you submit your FAFSA that's already included, or you can submit a specific CCPG application to financial aid, and this will help cover your tuition. A lot of students do qualify for this aid, and they don't realize it. So I encourage you to apply for all forms of aid. Next is our DREAM Act. Those are for our dreamers. You're going to want to fill that out. That is California State Aid, similar to the CCPG, and it will help to cover your tuition. And lastly is our FAFSA. So it's our free application for federal student aid. That you can just go to fafsa.ed.gov. You're going to want to make sure that you're filling that out and submitting that. The priority consideration was March 2nd, but it's not too late. Our financial aid office has workshops, it seems like almost weekly, and they have a wonderful financial aid advisor. Her name is Megan Ortega, and she is ready to help you. One thing I want to point out here, and I'm making sure that I am not blocking it here, these QR codes that are going to be here, if you use your phone right now, put your QR code over that for your camera, it will take you directly to our website, to the virtual help desk for financial aid. It will give you their hours, their services, and also they have a Zoom room that is open during business hours. If you have any financial aid question, you can pop into the Zoom room And they're there live being able to answer any of these questions or to see if you qualify or help you apply for financial aid. International students. So I'm going to be going into our steps to enrollment. I do know we have some international students with us today. And I just wanted to preface our steps to enrollment that if you are an international student or an F1 visa student, you want to make sure to contact the International Student Advisor or office for additional requirements. So international students do have additional requirements beyond the steps to enrollment that I am going to be talking about next. And they do have an application deadline. So if you're an international student here with us today, just know that you do have a separate application process. You will be doing some of the steps to enrollment that I'm going to be talking about next, but there are additional things. So again, that's the QR code. If you're an international student, I would recommend you visit that website so that you can see what the additional requirements are, or go ahead and put a Q&A in there with your name and saying that you would want more information about international students, and we'll make sure to get you connected to those experts in our international student office. So how do I get to SBCC? We're going to go through the steps to enrollment. Step one is you're going to be apply. So you're going to apply through OpenCCC Apply. That is a website that all California community colleges use. So for example, if you were a previous dual enrollment student at your high school, you took classes at your local community college, you want to make sure to be using that same account that you used before and then applying just through SBCC's website. Once you apply, your application should process within 24 hours, and then you can move on to step two, which is going to be pipeline and promise. You will set up your pipeline through our website. Pipeline is your student portal. That is going to be what you're going to be logging into daily. You have an assigned student email. That's going to be where you register for your classes, where you pay for your classes. There is Starfish in there where you are signing up for counselor appointments and for your class planning. And then in addition to setting up your pipeline, if you are an SBCC Promise eligible student, you will also sign up for the Promise and opt into the Promise once you've established your pipeline. Step three is placement. Now with placement, there's nothing that you need to do other than go into your pipeline and make sure that you have a math and English placement. We get the information from your application. So when you apply to SBCC, it will ask you the highest levels of math and English you've taken. And then once you do that, we will use that to be able to place you into a math or English. Sometimes if you don't have that information or we need additional information, you won't get a placement and you need to fill out an additional form. The next step would be orientation. Currently, the only option we have is an online orientation that can be done via your pipeline. And you just navigate into your pipeline under student and then click online orientation. It's about a 45-minute interactive orientation. There is a quiz on there. You do need to pass the quiz with at least, I believe it's 70% to be able to pass orientation. So we want to make sure you're paying attention. There's some great information in there. And step 5, which is definitely, these are all important, but the most important step is class planning. As a first time to college student, you will do a class planning webinar where you will meet with an academic counselor and plan out your classes for the next 2 semesters. So that means that you are saying, you know, my name is Christy, I want to be a communications major and I want to go to UCLA. Those, during class planning, they're going to set you up with the classes that you need to get to that academic goal. And then from that class plan that you have, then you will register yourself for the classes. Now, I know this can seem very overwhelming. There's a lot of steps on here. We are more than happy to help you in many different ways. We are available by phone. We are available by appointment. You can also come onto our campus certain days. And then lastly, we are going to be having a follow-up Zoom workshop this Friday. So if you are like, oh, I'm here at step 2, but I can't get into my pipeline, we're more than happy to help troubleshoot that. just let us know how we can contact you, or in your email that you received for signing up today, there is also a link in there for the workshop we're having this Friday. So do not hesitate to reach out at any time during any of these steps to enrollment. So when should you be doing all this? Some important dates to consider is if you're wanting to take a summer, that's supposed to say 2022 class, the application is now open for that. We do have 2 summer sessions that run 6 weeks, and their summer 1 begins May 16th and summer 2 begins June 27th. So if you're wanting to sign up for a summer class, get a head start on that, you are able to do that. But the key thing to know for all of these dates is that in order to be able to register for classes and attend classes, you need to have completed all of the steps to enrollment. So let's just go back real quick. So these are all holds on your account, the placement, orientation, class planning, and application, and you are not able to register for those classes until you've completed all these steps to enrollment. So the overall goal is you are wanting to complete all those steps before your registration date, and definitely before the semester starts. So for fall of 2022, the application is now open, and August 29th is when our fall 2022 semester opens. This is definitely something you want to pay attention to, but first time to college registration, that is when you're going to be able to register. Now, each student has an assigned registration date that you can find in your pipeline account, and we're happy to guide you through that as well as to where to find that. But these are general dates of when those dates will open for your registration. So it is ideal to have those steps to enrollment complete by your earliest registration date so you can register for your classes. So SBCC Promise eligible students will be able to register starting May 11th. And then our first time to college students are able to register on June 6th. So once you've completed your steps to enrollment, make sure you're going into your pipeline, checking your registration dates, and making that a target to be able to complete all your steps to enrollment by that date. So you're all set to register. You know what classes you're going to register for. If you need help with any of this, make sure you're joining our Zoom session or scheduling an appointment. We are more than happy to help guide you through this process. Another thing is if you're a little bit late to the game, maybe you are just deciding if you want to come to SBCC. These are not set dates, meaning if you don't register on May 11th or June 6th, you cannot register for SBCC. These are just the very first opportunity you have. So you will still be able to register for classes, for example, for fall, even up till the first 2 weeks of the semester. Now, we don't encourage that. We want to make sure that your life is a little less stressful and that you are not waiting till the last minute. But in case you are waiting till the last minute, you still are able to register for those classes. Housing is another popular topic for our students who are coming from out of the area. SBCC does not have any on-campus housing as a California community college. Specifically, there are some California community colleges that do have housing, but SBCC does not have on-campus housing. What we do is we do have housing partners. You can explore dorm-style living, apartments, and roommates. The best resource for this is going to be our website. Through there, we will have lists of dorm style living, lists of apartments, and there's even a list for other SBCC students who are looking for roommates to say, I'm looking for this type of roommate. This is what kind of room it is. This is the rent, this is the area, and you'll be able to explore all of those. Now, I would encourage you, if you are going to be looking for housing, you're definitely going to want to do that as soon as possible. And I would really encourage you to tour each facility and make sure you are picking the best one that is most suitable for you, where you feel comfortable. There are tons of different housing options. follow that QR code if you would like a little more information. Drop into our Zoom session on Friday, and we're happy to help you, guide you through this. Athletics, we have a lot of students that contact us about athletics. SBCC athletics is part of the Western State Conference, except for football, which is part of the Southern California Football Association. We have a lot of wonderful student athletes. The benefit of being a student athlete is you get to meet a lot of great new people. You have your own counselors, you have your own advisors, and additionally, if you are a student athlete, you do get priority registration. So if you are interested in being a student athlete, we do encourage you to do the recruitment form and email the coaches directly, letting them know you are interested in playing or being a part of athletics at SBCC. We are also happy to help guide you through that process and contacting coaches or filling out the recruitment form. But that would be your very first step if you're interested in any type of the athletics that are listed here at SBCC. And our Zoom support session. So we are here to help guide you and help you through these steps to enrollment. We are going to be having Zoom support sessions May 6th. So that's this Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. We also are having one May 20th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then another one July 22nd, and that's going to be to be determined. So the link of the link for the Zoom session was emailed to you. We will email it again. That is listed on our website here on this QR code. You can follow that. Please join for us. There's no registration needed. It's just a link that between those hours, there will be SBCC representatives from transfer, also enrollment, that are going to be there to help you through these steps to enrollment or any additional questions that you might have if you want a little bit more one-on-one support. You're not alone in this. SBCC is here to support you with the enrollment process and the transition from high school to college. SBCC has so many support services, so never hesitate to ask for the support that you need. We definitely want you to be supported and thrive here at SBCC, so make sure you are reaching out to us. And lastly, this is our contact information. You can call enrollment services at that number there. And these are open hours. I do want to point out that our Welcome Center is open on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on campus. So should you want to plan a time to be able to come to campus, I would encourage you to come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when our Welcome Center is open so someone can be there in person and help you. You can also email reachtransfer@sbcc.edu. We are available to send messages, or you're available to send messages at all hours, and the response time is usually within 24 business hours. If you want a one-on-one appointment, a phone appointment, a Zoom appointment, we're happy to schedule that. Make sure that you're emailing the Reach Transfer. And just a thing we want to point out is we love our parents, our counselors, grandparents, aunts and uncles, big sisters. We get a lot of those calling and advocating for our students. We know our students that are coming to us in the fall may be busy, you know, when you've got prom, you have graduation, working jobs, but we really want to encourage the students to contact us directly, be fully engaged in this process so that we can assist them. We want them to thrive while they're here at SBCC, so we want them to make those connections with us so that when they're here in the fall, that they know who to go to when they need that extra support. So that is all I have. What I'm going to do is right now we are going to pass it over to our University Transfer Academy, and it's going to be presented by Dr. Cami Vigneault. So Cami, you want to go ahead and take it over?
Thanks so much, Chrissy.
Thank you.
It's Dr. Cami Vigneault, and I'm actually co-presenting with my colleague, Counselor Renato Marquez, and also our other counselor, Marisol Cota. She'll be joining us in the question and answer. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I actually am from Honolulu, Hawaii. And I moved over here a long time ago, and I decided I wanted to be a student, and I couldn't really afford the out of state. Some of you were talking about how much does it cost for tuition. I had to pay my own, but I waited a whole year and then I became a resident and then we have a process. So anyway, I did graduate. The other thing I want to tell you is that I didn't know what I wanted to major in. And when you don't know your major, you will be here much longer than 2 years. If you don't know your major and you keep changing your major. Well, I liked everything. So I kept changing my mind and I didn't see an academic counselor because I was too afraid of what they would say. You need to pick a major, and I didn't want to pick a major. So I was just here a little bit longer. Anyway, I have such wonderful memories of being a student here. And I know that you would absolutely love coming to school here as well. We are 50 yards from the beach. I can throw a football. Well, I'm not that good, but you could throw a football and land on the beach. We have wonderful classes like surfing and ocean swimming and kayaking even. But I'd like, Renato, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Renato Marquez. I'm an academic counselor at the University Transfer Academy. And I also work as a personal counselor at the Health and Wellness. So I divided my time in both. I'm originally from Brazil, came here almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago, and started taking classes at SBCC. I didn't know my major, so I started taking general education classes. And I second everything that Christian Kenny and Dr. Kenny said. Talk to an academic counselor, use the services. Career Center, University Transfer Academy, Health and Wellness, library, counseling, tutoring, use the services. That was my number one mistake, was not to use all the services. As soon as I learned that and I started using the services, oh my God, everything became so easy. We can help you. We can help, even if you just want to take general education classes to complete IGETC or Cal State General Education. We can help you figure out the classes that will fulfill multiple requirements. So it's always a good idea to talk to an academic counselor, even if you don't have a major, okay? I'm pleased to meet you all, and I'm here to help you.
Right, next slide, please. Okay, so what is a transfer student? A student who has graduated from high school and actually has completed a regular session at college or university is a transfer student. So if you're just graduating, you will not be a transfer student, even if you take a summer class. You have to wait until you have completed a regular session. Okay, next slide. Oops. Thank you. So at the Transfer Academy, University Transfer Academy, we help you choose where you might want to go. There are so many options. Clearly in our backyard is UCSB. And there are many UCs to choose from. Also the California State universities, and in our other backyard is Channel Islands. But there are many of those schools to choose from. Also private and independent schools, out-of-state schools, even schools that are in another nation, somewhere far, far away. You can transfer anywhere. Okay, so this is what the education looks like. So you're going to need 60 units to transfer minimum to, this is, of course, there are exceptions, but for the most part, you will need 60 units to transfer. And if you take 15 units in the fall and the spring, and in the fall and the spring, you'll end up with 60. If you pass all of your classes, you'll end up with 60. The UCs and CSUs will take up to 70 units. So when you see this yellow part over here, those are your GEs. And there are IGETC, which is the UC. And then there's also the CSU GE Breadth. There's also other transfer pattern as well for the school that you wish to transfer, if that's what you wanted to do, if you didn't complete your GE with us. Also, there's this thing called major prep, or preparation for the major. I remember they would say, oh, did you do your major prep? What? I didn't know what major prep was, and I was too embarrassed to ask. But basically, did you prepare for your major at at the school that you wish to go to, because each school has different requirements. And so you need to know, or at least have an idea of where you might want to transfer. And so then we can dial it in for you. Also, there are electives. And so there are a reasonable amount of courses that you can take for enjoyment. Like I had mentioned, some of the ocean sports that we have. Also, there's painting and ceramics and music, and you want to play guitar, you want to learn how to sing. Our school is full of such wonderful, you want to become a great photographer. We've got a fabulous program. Okay, you need 60 transferable units minimum, and we'll go over what is transferable. You must have your first 2 English courses completed. Well, so that everybody takes English 110, and then there are options for the second, which is the critical thinking. Unless you transfer in AP scores, or you transfer in from another school with those completed. And then of course, a transferable math, which would be a college algebra or stats class or further. So those are like the absolute minimum. And if you're in a major, like a STEM major, that maybe, you know, engineering and science majors often complete less general ed. So the yellow part for them is much smaller and the green part is much bigger. And if you're going to be in the STEM major, you can plan on being here between at least 3 years, unless you bring in other units from AP or another school. Okay. Next, thank you. Okay, if you were at Santa Barbara City College, our students complete their general education and their lower division major preparation for the major, and then the elective units. You will transfer as a junior. I mean, you will transfer as a junior. It takes, again, 2 or 3 years, depending, sometimes 4, depending on how many units are you taking each semester. Are you going to go to summer school? Are you taking summer classes? What kind of grades? Do you need to repeat a course? How much lower division or major prep courses do you have? Again, STEM, they might have more. Some other majors, communication, perhaps business, might have less, depending, again, where you want to transfer. And then if you like extracurricular activities, if you're working, I had to work when I was a student here, but I also was in the athletics. And then if you wanted to join clubs, we've got some amazing clubs that are doing amazing things on campus. Okay, so if you're thinking about transferring, you're thinking about 4 years. You've all heard this stuff. Are you going to go to a 4-year university? That's like if you started at a 4-year school. Our students will do their lower division here and their upper division there. If you think about how it was in high school, I mean, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So you're going to do your first 2 years with us and then transfer to the next school. Yeah. Okay, I think that we said that. Okay, what is required to transfer? You must complete or at least meet the minimum admissions requirements. And so the very basic minimum requirements are the 60 transferable units. I believe, and the GPA, depending on which school. Also, let's see. We're going to talk about it a little bit further, but the CSUs have different requirements than UC, but standardly, that'll be on the next slide. Okay, what makes you, oh, sorry, can we go back to the other one? Thanks. Sorry. So what makes a competitive GPA? We will go over that. GEs as required or recommended, and then the major. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, if you're applying to UC, that's the minimum again. It's 60 semester or 90 quarter UC transferable, minimum 2.4 if you're a California resident, 2.8 for non-resident and international. And the UCs will require a 7-course pattern. So within the 60 transferable units that you're going to be bringing with you, of those 7 of those must be 2 courses in the English 110, and then the point critical thinking course, 1 transferable math course, and 4 courses in at least 2 of these areas. And they could be arts and humanities, behavioral, social, biological, physical science. And that's the very minimum. But if you want to be competitive, then you would want to have completed your IGETC. So completing the IGETC is not a requirement. The requirement is the 7-course pattern and 60 units. But if you want to be competitive, you want to have that IGETC completed as much as possible. You will complete your major prep, and then you will have a competitive GPA. Okay, and so notice the note that they have here. For most majors at UC campuses, 3.2 GPA is competitive. These other UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC San Diego are exception, meaning that the applicants usually have they require higher GPA. Those schools are impacted, and impacted means that there are more demand than there are seats for the applicants. Okay, so the IGETC, somebody had asked, what is the IGETC? Again, the IGETC is the pattern. All right, the CSUs, this is the minimum to apply to a CSU. Again, 60 semester, 90 quarter CSU transferable units, minimum of 2.0 GPA for California residents, 2.4 for non-residents, and they have the golden 4. So the golden 4 are with a C or better. Again, also, yeah, C or better, I forgot to mention that. 2 courses in your English that we had talked about, 1 transferable math, and absolutely 1 oral communication class that has to be done by the spring before you transfer, as well as the 60 units. Okay, but if you want to be competitive, you will complete the CSU GE breath pattern or the IGETC, which is the UC pattern. And then you will do the subsequent oral comm class. Okay, and completing your major prep also has you being competitive, having a high GPA in transferable coursework, and then completion of a transfer ADT, AAT, or AST. So that's like, we have these degrees for transfer, and doing that, it's kind of like the tag, or like we'll save you a seat if you have these, if you have the minimum, if you have the minimum requirement, of course you can apply. But if the school has impaction, and or if the major is like a high demand major, you definitely want to have most of these things completed to ensure yourself a seat. Cal Poly has an extra application. Some other schools may as well. All right, so every school in the independent and private, out of state, they all have their own requirements and they vary. So you might want to research, and they each have their own deadlines. So if you are thinking about going to apply to transfer to an out-of-state school, and you have many ideas of where you might want to transfer, as well as a UC or CSU, then you definitely would want to get organized and work with us in the Transfer Academy. We can help you get organized and help you narrow down your choices so that you make the best choices possible. A lot of schools allow students to transfer in with less than 60 units, and this is actually true. If you have less than 60 in, but your mind is made up and you absolutely want to transfer, we can do some research and see where they can. Many of the privates and out of states will do that. I learned the University of Hawaii accepts, I believe it was 25 or 30. So yeah, many schools allow less than 60 units. Many schools also recognize IGETC and CSU General Ed pattern, particularly IGETC, that is like the platinum standard. So if you have these GE courses completed and you've done well on them, that would be helpful most times. Also USC, they have their own, well, we can talk about that. So if here's the website, a couple of resources for you, info on independent colleges and universities, the www.asu.edu. aiccu.org, or else out of state, you can look at collegesource.org. All right. So this is the GE patterns. We have IGETC, that's how you say it, IGETC. And if you ever have a question, if your counselor is talking too fast and you want them to go over it again, we will absolutely do that. Because we talk to so many students about the same thing. Sometimes we forget, oh, this person doesn't know that. But you're more than welcome. I mean, please ask questions, because that's what we're here for. And if you need us to slow down, we can do that too. IGETC is accepted at all UCs and also at the CSU if you do the IGETC for CSU, which means one extra class is the oral comm class. Okay, the CSU GE Breadth is accepted at all CSUs and many of independents. Completion, again, like I said, is not required for admission, but is recommended because it also helps you become more competitive, right? And then it's not recommended for high unit majors like biological sciences, you know, the STEM majors, because they have so much major prep that they have to do, and they can only transfer in 60 to 70, that their majors would prefer that you would complete the major prep is way more important than completing the IGETC or the CSU GE Breadth. Okay. So the IGETC sheet you will see is a pink sheet, and it has all those different sections. It looks really crazy. So we don't want to, when I first saw this, I'm like, I don't want to look at that page again. But we can help you navigate through it, and it's not as complicated as it may look. And then the yellow one is the CSU GE pattern. Now, if you plan on not transferring, the pattern that you would take would be the SBCC pattern. So then you would have that pattern to complete your associate's degree. Okay, each GE pattern is organized by subject area, and you must complete the required number of courses in each subject area. So if we say, I get C1A, that would one course. That's your English 110. I get C1B, then you have your choices of those. 1C is the oral comm, then one course in each of those areas. You need one transferable course minimum in the math, and so on and so forth in each of these sections. All right, so you'll have about 35 to 40 units total. And sometimes this is the best, is when you have major prep that you have to do, and it matches on the IGETC, so then you get a double dip. I'll explain that a little further on the next couple slides. So this is where you find out the preparation for a major or major prep, and it is on assist.org. This is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Anybody can use it. You just go to assist.org and you would navigate in the middle. You would put the academic year that you want. You would put SBCC as your institution and whatever other agreement that you want to look at. And so then you would view the agreement. So that's just getting you started. And then you would look at all of the different majors and decide which major that you wanted. Okay, so this will give you all of the requirements. They will list all of on the page. It will list exactly what you need to take or what they would request that you have completed. Now, if you don't complete all of the major prep, again, you would read it on assist. Some schools will require the major prep to be completed before transferring. It will say on assist. If sometimes it says you are strongly, it's strongly suggested that you finish your major prep. And that's for sure, because if you don't finish it with us, you will finish it at the transfer school. And meaning that when you think you're a junior, you may still be taking courses with freshmen and sophomore when you transfer. Okay, so you'll be able to find the articulated courses that match on assist.org for each of the UCs or CSUs, but none of the privates. Okay. Yeah, and so that's what you do. So like, this is an example. If you wanted to transfer to UCSB in economics, that's what you would do. You would put that in, and then you would view the agreement. And look at this. This is exactly what it will look like. On the top, it would tell you the school and then the agreement with Santa Barbara City College. So UCSB on the left, Santa Barbara City on the right. This tells you the general information, and they also have links to the department, which is really awesome. They will tell you if AP will count for the major prep, if you do have AP scores to report. Now you will be invited, it tells you that you will be accepted into the pre-major. And so they have pre-major information. All right, and then you want to make sure that you read this. Don't just skip down to the classes, because this stuff is different and it might be pertinent to what your question might be. It might be right there. Okay. So like I said, on the left, UCSB has their courses. On the right, that's the courses that we have that articulate. So basically, UCSB wants everything done on the left. On the right, it says, okay, that doesn't equal, but that will satisfy that UCSB requirement. So for this, the major prep for this major would be Econ 101 or 101 honors, Econ 102 or 102 honors. You must do either Math 150 and 160 or Math 130. And then down here, as you notice, there are some courses on the left that do not articulate. That means that you will take that course there once you get into the pre-major. And after you take that course, then you will be invited to the regular major. All right, so for students who want to take advantage of a tag is a transfer admission guarantee. And the benefits of the tag are amazing. It's like an early decider. So if you say, okay, I want to tag with UCSB in such and such major, then we can set that up for you. The benefits are huge. So you get personal assistance with transfer and academic planning on top of what your primary academic counselor is offering. This is additional. You have increased access to tag information and updates and other transfer advising. We can help you review your academic transfer profile, look it over to make sure that if you meet the qualifications, then you know that you can save yourself a seat at one of those 6 UCs that we do have the tag with. We have transfer related workshops that you will get first privilege to. We had university campus visits. Of course, we haven't had any for a couple of years because of COVID, but when we did have our campus visits, they were awesome. We took, I believe, was it 50 students to San Diego, UCLA, a couple of other visits, but I wasn't there on that one. But we did do a 4-day, 3-night visit, completely paid for, and that was in the Bay Area. We went to UC Berkeley, we went to San Jose State, we checked out Davis, and shucks, one more school I can't recall. Renato, do you remember that school, the last school that we went to? It was awesome, and it was no charge at all to the students. They were all the students were in Transfer Academy. They got first choice. Okay, our office is located on first floor. All right, and so anyway, this is an up-to-date list of our tags that we have with our independents and our other schools. So right here you can see we do have tag. Tag is the agreement, of course, the agreements that we have, and then for international students, we have a few extra opportunities for them as well. All right. So typically for tagging in one of those 6 UCs that we talked about, you would have to have minimum GPA in the transferable courses, and certain courses need to be completed by a certain term before transferring. Some schools will say, well, we want the math to be done in the fall and not wait till the spring before people transfer. You need the minimum number of transferable units must be completed at the time of tag, which is 30. And that also might include major prep if the major requires it. So these are the wonderful schools that we have tag with. And that is, again, the transfer admission guarantee. The 6 UCs that offer a tag are listed right here. For UC Davis, you must have a 3.2. For UC Irvine, 3.4 GPA. UC Merced allows a 2.8, and UC Riverside also 2.8. They lowered, that's interesting. Look at UC Santa Cruz, you must have at least a 3.0 GPA to tag. And then UC Santa Barbara requires a 3.40. Now, can you still apply? Let's just say, can you still apply? Yes, you can still apply. But as a regular person, if you don't have the GPA for the tag, then you should save your tag and use it for a school that has your major and a lower GPA. If you don't want to waste your tag is just saving you a seat. And if you tag to a school, that doesn't mean you have to go there. It just means it's going to save you a seat. So when you're graduated, if you met the minimum requirements, you're in. Okay, if you're applying to a CSU or California State University, then you might want to consider the ADT. So that's the tag for the CSUs, like the guarantee, or at least if you've completed these things with at least the minimum for unimpacted majors, that would be the tag. The associate's degree for transfer may allow you increased chance for admissions at a CSU campus. It guarantees that you'll graduate in 60 units after you transfer, as long as you remain in the major that you had put in for your ADT. Somebody said, why isn't there a tag for UC Berkeley? Oh yeah, there's not a tag for UC Berkeley and some of the other UCs, because those schools are completely impacted, and each of the programs within that school is completely impacted. So yeah, so there's no tag for only of those 6 schools. We have the tag. Now, these are the ADTs that we offer currently. There's 27 ADTs. And so look at, like, here, they're listed from A to T, all of the ADTs that we have. So if you are thinking about applying to a UC, but you're open to CSU, or you think you want to go to a CSU, but you might want to remain open to UC, these are things that we would talk about with you. And if you were going for the ADT, that is pretty much the basic, that's what we know that the CSUs like when you have, it helps you to be more competitive, like the slides say. Okay. And then, okay, important tips: meet with your academic counselor at each semester at least once. Make sure that you have a student ed plan and that all the courses that you need for your major prep for transferring are in there. And if you have several schools, then you have to do the research for each school to make sure that you have major prep covered. You want to know where to look for your GE and major courses that you might need. You want to know the difference between a transferable and non-transferable course and an articulated course. So if sometimes a course might be transferable to a CSU, but not a UC. So you would want to make sure that within those 60 units, remember, if you were just to take fall 15, spring 15, fall, spring, you would have 60, but you want to make sure if you're going to transfer, you want to make sure they are transferable, because if you do not have 60, you might find out that you thought you were transferring and you're not. All right, many GE courses can be taken on a pass, no pass basis, and the UC system allows up to 14 units of pass, no pass credit. So you would want to talk with your academic counselor about that. And don't settle for C's, meaning that it's more important to take your time, take lesser units and get higher grades than it is to do the 15 or 18 per semester and just get mediocre grades. You just want to always do your best, because that will help you to get those scholarships that you might want. Okay, and this is just a wonderful page of transfer tools and resources. The first one about College Board has some great tools for career and major exploration. We have College Source on there. all of these, you can take a picture of this, I'm sure. And then the other thing I wanted to, is there one more slide? Okay, we can just go back, maybe you can put it back on the resource page. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, if you're interested in becoming a Transfer Academy member, you can go to sbcc.edu/Transfer Academy, and you can sign up right on the link right there, right before the video. It's a live link, and one of us will reach out to you and we'll make an appointment with you, and we just welcome you into our program. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Cami, so much. So that concludes our presentation. We did want to give ample opportunity for anyone to answer any questions, or if we wanted to answer any live questions at this time. I know that I've been told that there are some great questions that were asked in the chat. So Liz, I will reach out to you and ask if there are any questions that we want to put out for everyone.
Yes, we've gotten lots of great questions.
Great.
Some of the ones that we kind of, saw repeating was, when is the deadline to come to SBCC for fall? What is the deadline?
Great. That is a great question. So SBCC doesn't have a specific deadline for you to come. You can apply up into even the first 2 weeks of the semester. Now, we wouldn't recommend that. Fall 2022 starts August 29th. So if you wanted a deadline, I would say your priority registration date, so the first opportunity for you to register, keep that in mind as kind of like a soft deadline. That way you will have the opportunity to register for classes at your first available registration time. And just to bring those dates up again. So for first time to college students, if you are SBCC Promise eligible, you are an SBCC Promise student, meaning you are a local high school Santa Barbara area graduate, your first opportunity to register is going to be May 11th. And then for all other students who are first time to college, it's going to be June 6th. So that would be my recommendation. But again, if you don't have your steps to enrollment done by those dates, you can still register up until the first 2 weeks of the semester. So the semester begins August 29th. Now, we wouldn't recommend that because at that point you are adding, having to crash classes, you're needing add codes for classes. So that's why we advise as close to your priority registration date as possible.
Great. Christy, where would people be able to access this information, access the recording for this?
So that is going to be on our REACH website. If we can put that up, let me just stop the share for a minute and I will go ahead and bring up that website. Additionally, you can email us. We can email you that website to the reachtransfer@sbcc.edu. And we'll go ahead and bring that up. So give me a moment. I'll go ahead and bring up that website for everyone to see. So this is our website here. It is enrollment services, webinars, and workshops. Or if you go to our website and just search for REACH, that will bring you to our REACH website and you can click webinars and workshops. So we do have 2 other presentations coming up if you'd like to attend again, but we will post the recording here. And then our workshops are also listed here with the Zoom links that will be active the day of. Any other questions, Liz?
Yes, sorry, trying to multitask. Can you please go back to, we've had a request to go back to the steps to enrollment.
Yes.
And if you could show that and quickly go review that again.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go back to that. Just give me a moment. Let's put it this way. So these are our steps to enrollment for SBCC. To review it, number one, you're going to want to apply through OpenCCC Apply. Number two, once you applied, it should only take 24 hours. A lot of students, what they do is they'll wait for an email to prompt them or an acceptance. Since SBCC is a California community college, you will be accepted as long as you are 18 or older, or will have a high school diploma or GED equivalent by the time you come to SBCC for the fall semester. So you don't have to wait once you applied. You can go ahead within those 24 hours and get your pipeline set up. If you are a local high school student, this is when you would sign up for your SBCC Promise. Then step 3 would be placement. There is no active action with this other than making sure that you have a math and English placement. And then that would be in your pipeline. If you don't have a math and English placement, then you would fill out the form that is included where your math and English placement is supposed to be, and you'll soon thereafter get a math and English placement. Step 4 is an orientation. This can be done online via our website. It will direct you to your pipeline to complete that 45-minute online orientation that's interactive with the quiz. You do need to pass the quiz with at least 70% or better. And then step 5 is very important class planning, where it is a webinar that you will sign up for in advance through your pipeline. And there's a feature in there called Starfish. You will sign up for that webinar, and then you will meet with an academic counselor to set up your student education plan, which you'll discuss, what your overall academic goals are, whether that be transfer, associate degree, certificate, and they will go ahead and plan out what classes you should be taking in order to achieve that goal. And then with that student education plan, when your registration date comes up, then you will register for classes. So it's important to note here that you do need to do these steps in order. On your pipeline, you will have what are called registration holds. And the registration holds are going to be making sure that step 3, you have your placement in place, that you're ready to go with that you, step 4, have completed orientation. And then lastly, step 5, have attended the class planning. Once you've cleared all those, then you will be allowed to register. If you, for some reason, have completed those and have any of those holds, make sure you are getting in contact with one of our staff within enrollment services so that we can help troubleshoot that. We can call you on the phone, hop into a Zoom, or you can hop into one of our Zoom support sessions.
Great. Can you talk about how students would submit their AP scores?
Their AP scores. So give me a moment. I'm going to pop this up on our website so that I can show you how you would submit your AP scores. So what you're going to want to do, just go to our website, sbcc.edu. All I did is in the search button here, I just typed in AP scores and then clicked the first one that came up. This is going to be your steps to submitting your AP score. So step 1, you're going to want to obtain your AP score report. And then they have some different options on how to do that there. And then step 2 is submit a request for evaluation. And then there is a form here for the AP score evaluation form that you will submit. I believe it's via Google form. You need to make sure that you're signed into your pipeline account in order to submit that. So I think whoever was asking that, we can also put this in the Q&A to you directly, or you simply can go to sbcc.edu in the search, just put AP scores or just AP, and then click the advanced placement, and then the steps are going to be right here, step by step, what you need to do in order to submit those AP scores. It is important when you're meeting with an academic counselor that you discuss this. I also would try to have these done before you do a class planning session or meet with a counselor so that you already have those on record, so they can tell you what that might qualify for in regards to coursework at SBCC or transfer options.
Great, thank you, Chrissy.
Mhm.
Can you potentially, since you're on the website, can you pull up the athletics page? We've had a lot of questions from students finding the recruitment form, but then also asking about where to find the coach information.
Great, yeah, so if you just go to search, the search button is like Google for SBCC. You're gonna wanna click the first one that says SBCC Athletics, home of the Vaqueros. That will take you to our athletics page here. So once you're here at the athletics page, under teams, you can go ahead. If I wanted to click baseball, I'm interested in playing baseball, right? Over here is the recruitment form. So you'd go ahead and fill out that recruitment form here and submit that if you were interested in playing. And then what you're going to want to do is click more with the little plus sign and click coaches. And this is all the coaches for baseball. My recommendation would be reaching out to the head coach. They list their names, some of them will have a Twitter and their phone numbers for you to get a hold of them should you want to schedule an appointment. Also, potential athletes, or if you call the coach or meet them, they will also do like tours for you of the athletic facilities. It's just depending on availability. And that's why we ask that you get in contact directly with the teams. If you wanted to do golf, same thing, recruitment form, and then more, and then coaches. And you want to get into contact with those coaches directly.
Perfect, thank you. How many units typically do students take each semester?
So that is really dependent on the student themselves. SBCC considers a full-time student at 12 units. That usually breaks down to about 3 to 4 classes, depending on the units, because different classes have different units. Like a certain math class or a science class might be 5 units versus another class that might be 3 to 4, or a work experience class that is a 1 unit class. So if you would like to be a full-time student, it's 12 units. I would say, more importantly, you want to set yourself up for success, right? You don't want to overcommit, especially in your first semesters, but that's completely up to you. However, you do want to keep in mind, as Dr. Kemi was stating, is you do need those 60 transferable units in order to transfer. And so if you're on your own personal timeline, or you know that you want to transfer within those 2 years, you need to break that up. And taking the 12 units fall, spring is not going to get you to those 60 units. If you wanted to do that within the 2 years, you would have to supplement by taking additional units per semester and taking summer classes. The maximum units you can take without petitioning is going to be the 18 units.
Great.
And I don't know if Dr. Kami or someone from transfer would want to contribute to that in any way. But it really just kind of depends, I would say, on the student and their goal and their capacity.
I can speak to that.
Thank you.
I was a transfer student. I had already attended a couple of other schools in Hawaii. And so by the time I came here, I had transfer credits. However, they have to be articulated, meaning that University of Hawaii speaks one language and SBCC speaks another language. So in order for it to match, I lost many credits. So if you think that you're coming in with X amount, you need to get those evaluated if you have some transcripts. Also, if you're working, I had to work to put myself through. And when I was first a student here, I didn't know that, well, I didn't know how to study. And I didn't know that I should probably take PD 100. I don't even know if they had it back 30 years ago, but that is a really good course. It's a student success course. So if you take that course in the beginning, they will teach you how to study. The 60 units, it's the UCs and CSUs, they don't want 59.5 or 3/4. They want 60. So if you don't have that 6, it's always better to have a little bit more going in than squeezing it at the end. And if you have to work and you have to take less units, at least be a full-time student and then make a plan to take some summer classes. Or if you have some AP scores that you have taken some AP tests and you have scores of 3 or higher, or depending, then those could count for some classes that you don't have to take when you're here. Does anybody want to add something else?
Cami, that was great. I just wanted to add, a lot of students were asking, you know, can I finish fast in a year or, you know, year and a half? And it's not about finishing fast. It's actually about doing well in your classes. That's going to get you into your transfer institution. A C grade is passing. You cannot repeat a C. So for those of you that are really, you know, striving for UCLA, Berkeley, UC San Diego, and wanting to go to some of the competitive CSUs like Cal Poly SLO, you definitely, if you need to go slower and get better grades, that's going to be more to your advantage than going faster, taking many classes and just getting C's. You're going to have to settle for where you got in instead of having choices about where do I want to go because I've done so well while I've been at City College. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Marisol. I actually have a couple of transfer center questions, but I'll wait and do everything with Christy first, and then I'll let you guys know what the transfer center questions are. Christy, majors, what if, you know, I'm applying and I don't really know what I want to do or what I want to major in? What should I do in that case?
Yeah, so for the application purposes, we always recommend selecting a major, and that's for a couple of different reasons. Number one, you can choose a major and then change it at any time, right? Like if you come in and you're like, I don't know what I want to do, and maybe you select communications, but then you take a biology class and then you decide, oh, I want to major in biology. That can be updated in your pipeline at any time. Anytime you change your major, it is advisable to meet with an academic counselor to make sure that you are taking the courses you need to transfer in that major, maybe any major prep. So it's always advisable when you're wanting to change that major, you meet with your academic counselor. But going back to the application, we advise that you, when you're applying, select one and not select something like, you know, unknown or things like, you know, personal enrichment or anything else, because that impacts two things. It's going to impact your registration date if you don't have a selected major. And number two, that is also going to potentially impact financial aid opportunities. So please select a major. It's not, you're not stuck into it. You can change it at any time, but we do not advise to put undeclared or unknown.
Great, thank you, Christy. Can you talk a little bit about financial aid deadlines?
Financial aid deadlines. So the major financial aid deadlines are going to be March 2nd for the FAFSA, and that's for priority consideration for the state of California. That doesn't mean that you can't apply after that March 2nd. It's just a priority consideration. You have the most chance for the most aid if you get it in by March 2nd. Another deadline is the SBCC scholarships is March 2nd. So you want, they do that on purpose. And so they want to make sure that you are filling out your FAFSA, turning it in by March 2nd, getting those scholarships in by March 2nd. But again, you know, the FAFSA is not a hard deadline for the scholarships. If no one gets those scholarships or no one applied or qualifies, then they'll send it out through the pipeline and say, hey, we have these scholarships available, make sure that you are applying. But other than that, the California College Promise Grant does not have a deadline. You can fill that out really at any time. We'd encourage you to do any financial aid before you plan on registering for classes, because what happens is if you're relying on financial aid to pay for your classes, you sign up for your classes and then you do your financial aid applications after, it takes a while for those to process. Usually it takes between 7 to 10 business days for the FAFSA to process. CCPG is a little quicker. There is processing time for scholarships. And then the DREAM Act has that processing time as well. But once you sign up for classes, you have 7 days to pay your bill. If you do not pay that bill within 7 days, your classes are dropped. So that means those are no longer on your schedule and you're back at ground zero and you got to go register for classes again. So that's why you want to set up your financial aid before you register for classes. So that's all set and ready to go and that you don't have to worry about that or your classes being dropped. So the main deadline to keep in mind is the March 2nd priority consideration for FAFSA, but you can still fill it out. And then the March 2nd scholarship deadline.
Okay, great. I think the other questions I have, I'm going to direct to the transfer center people.
Perfect.
We've gotten quite a few questions about if you guys could review and kind of talk a little bit exactly what IGETC is.
I can answer that question. So the IGETC is an abbreviation for Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. It is a general education pattern that is accepted by all the UC campuses and all the 23 CSUs to satisfy your general ed for a bachelor's degree. It makes up about 35 to 41 units of the 60 units that are required to transfer to the public UC and CSU systems. Some private and out-of-state schools also recognize IGETC, but there are 78 private schools in California alone. So those private schools have religious affiliation. So some of the courses on IGETC, we don't like religious courses, for example, if students wanted to go to like Westmont, it wouldn't necessarily satisfy all their GE requirements for graduation for a bachelor's degree.
Great, thank you. When should students become, if they're interested in utilizing one of our tag, or say they want to go to UCSB, so they want to tag into UCSB, when should they start talking to the transfer center, meet with a counselor? Is there a deadline? Like, do they need to do it a certain period of time before they're actually going to apply to UCSB?
So as far as talking to a transfer counselor in the transfer center at City College, as soon as you finish class planning as part of your steps to enrollment, you're able to fill out the application to join the University Transfer Academy, and you'll be assigned to one of us. And we will be happy to help you with the tag, which students have to complete 30 transferable units. That can include a combination of SBCC courses or from their local community college where they were taking classes, IB credits, high level, where they earned a 5, 6, or a 7. So during the month of September 1st through the 30th is the tag application cycle. So we do want to meet with students at least during their first year here so that we can plan accordingly, so that should they want to transfer within the 2-year time period, that they would be able to tag in September, meeting the 30 unit requirement. Some require English and mathematics to be done prior to that start date. And also, depending on where they're going to be eventually transferring, we want to make sure that they're planning the courses accordingly for their second year. So there's a rolling deadline for students to apply to the University Transfer Academy at SBCC. The application is on our website, and all students that have a goal of transfer are welcome to participate in our program.
Wonderful, thank you. And then we've got a great question about TAG, I think for clarification's sake. So they specifically asked, it's transfer admission guarantee, but can you explain the guarantee? I think, the difference between, is it automatically guaranteed, or there are things that I need to do in order to be guaranteed, et cetera. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, so within the UC system, there is 6 UCs that participate in the TAG. Again, UCLA, Berkeley, and UC San Diego don't guarantee admissions to anybody from anywhere for any reason, because they do the holistic review of not just the students' grades, course preparation in the major, but they look at the personal statements like extracurricular activities, things like that. So on the other 6 UC campuses that offer the TAG, that's the overall GPA that Cami was showing that you must have with all courses that are UC transferable to meet the requirements to be guaranteed. However, within the TAG, there are selective majors that you must earn a certain GPA in. For example, economics, which was shown on the assist agreement, students have to earn a 2.7 GPA within their econ classes, micro, macro, and within the calculus to be guaranteed, in addition to the 3.4 overall. So within the TAG, the matrix does clarify if the majors are offered within that TAG agreement, and then also which school screening within the major on top of that. So for example, UCSB's College of Engineering and College of Creative Studies does not guarantee TAG. They have more applicants and spots available, but the College of Letters and Science, which houses the majority of their majors, has the 3.4 guarantee.
Perfect, thank you. I think the lesson to be learned here is like what everybody's been saying tonight, is make sure you go in and take advantage and get access to the services, meet with your academic counselor at least once a semester, make sure that you apply to the transfer program if that's what you're wanting to do, and just making it a priority to get those services so you know exactly what you need to do. Thank you. That was the end of the questions, Christy, that I had.
Great, thank you. Again, I will just put up here our contact. Should you want to reach out to us via phone, our hours, if you want to come to campus on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, email that reachtransfer@sbcc.edu. We can also put you in contact with the presenters today in the University Transfer Academy. We want to thank them so much for being here. That's just amazing information that is so important for students who are really looking at that transfer goal. So we want to thank them for just that wonderful information. And again, just take advantage of those student support programs that are really going to assist you to reach whatever school or certificate or academic goal that you have. So if we don't have any more questions, are there still questions coming in, Liz?
There are, but they're we're answering them. They're a little more specific to specific people's situations.
And we can hang out for a little bit if people have more specific situations that they want to put in the Q&A. You're also welcome to email us. I will also put up right now, we'll give this a minute to be here, but I'll also pull up our Zoom sessions. I would encourage you to come on Friday, May 6th, to our Zoom workshop that we're having from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And no registration is required. You can just pop in at any time. Let me go ahead and bring that up. So these are our Zoom support sessions. You can use that QR code to get to our website, or you can also just go to sbcc.edu and search for REACH and click under webinars and workshops. We would love to help you one-on-one, whether that be guidance through application, steps to enrollment, getting in contact with any of the student support services. And lastly, I just want to thank our enrollment services team who was with us tonight. Armand, Michaela, Kiko, and Liz, all holding it down on the Q&A, and Vanessa Pelton, our director, who was also here. And again, Dr. Cami, Renato, and Marisol, who are with us from the University Transfer Academy.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
And we're very excited to help all of you. So please, come get our free services. We're here to support you in your journey. We're helping you answer all the questions, and everybody's different, so not everybody's on the same path. And, that's what we're here to help you find and make sure that what you're working towards, taking the right classes, paying for the right, services and all of that. It's like all of this can be done, but you have to kind of reach out and access it as a college student. So we're here for you, but we're not going to send the call slip to all of your classes like you're used to in high school to pull you out and make sure everything's all right. So we're here to help you. And again, it's a great opportunity for you to take advantage of the TAG programs that we have available to you so that you guys can really get into your dream schools that you really want to go to.
And in addition, just the Zoom support sessions, there will be University Transfer Academy support there. And to answer your questions further, should you have those questions or want to get connected with them, that staff will be present at the Zoom support sessions as well. So please join those and do not be too shy or too prideful to ask any questions that you have. We are so happy to help you through this process. Any last questions, Liz?
We've answered all of the ones that were in the queue. So if anybody has any last minute questions, now is the time to put those in the Q&A.
We'll give a few minute warning for anyone else that wants to put in their last minute questions. Again, if you maybe don't know any questions right now or something comes up later, make sure you're emailing that reachtransfer@sbcc.edu to get any additional questions that you may have answered.
We've just gotten some thank yous, Christy. I think we're good.
Okay, well, thank you for being with us tonight. We ended a little bit early and look for the webinar posted on the website within the week. And we just thank you for your time tonight. Great. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Looks like some last minute questions are coming in. We'll just keep that on. A couple of attendees are still here. If you have those last minute questions, we'll stay around for a few minutes. All right, everyone, I think it's safe to say that we can all sign off. Thank you for everyone being here. We appreciate all of your support, and we will see you at the next one.
All right. Have a good night,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. It was fantastic.
Bye.